Well, Cracker Barrel sort of admits defeat after hilarious backfire that they didn't see coming, and now customers aren't letting this one slide at all. You see, Cracker Barrel is facing heavy backlash that they can't handle after changing its logo, and customers are not staying quiet any longer. Cracker Barrel admitted it could have done a better job, explaining the redesign, but the response hasn't slowed the criticism. Now, Cracker Barrel is now trying to reassure fans that its values and traditions aren't changing, even as frustration grows. So, yeah, basically, Cracker Barrel finds itself caught between keeping its identity and adapting for a new generation. They're not really taking accountability, but it still shows that Cracker Barrel definitely admits defeat after hilarious backfire that they didn't see coming. And the fallout is only just the beginning. Okay, so yeah, Cracker Barrel, as you all know, released a statement where they said that, they understand how deeply people care about the brand, and they thank customers for their heartfelt voices. You can pause it and stuff to read, but admitted they failed to communicate what the logo change meant. Now, that kind of response only confirms what people are already saying. Cracker Barrel misread its audience and underestimated the loyalty of the customers that have to its identity. Now, the company itself claims that, its core values haven't changed since opening its first store in 1969. They list hard work, family, and scratch cooked food, or made from scratch food made with care, as the foundation of Cracker Barrel's brand. Now, the problem isn't just the values, it's trust. Fans feel like Cracker Barrel is just drifting away from the traditions that made it successful in the first place. Cracker Barrel says it wants to remain a place where everyone feels at home. But longtime customers see the new logo and redesigned stores as a departure from the brand's roots. Now, the statement reassures people that rocking chairs on the porch, warm fires in the hearth, and vintage Americana decor aren't going anywhere. Yeah, right. Now, the promise sounds good, but customers aren't convinced, and they shouldn't be. But one of the biggest flashpoints is Uncle Herschel. Cracker Barrel insists that he's not being erased, saying Uncle Herschel will stay on menus, road signs, and even in marketing materials. But he's not going to be back on the sign, though, or the logo. Now, they even highlight his favorite breakfast platter as proof. The backlash actually shows how strongly customers associate Uncle Herschel with the identity of Cracker Barrel itself, okay? So the company also wants people to just focus less on the headlines and more on what's on the plate. Now, honestly, that's going to be hard to do it when they've lost a lot of their customers, when a majority of the customers said that they're not coming back. Now, Cracker Barrel points to menu staples like meatloaf, chicken and dumplings, and country fried steaks as unchanged favorites. You see, they've added a few new dishes, but say the heart of the menu remains the same. Now, honestly, the message is clear. They want customers to stop worrying about branding and focus on their food. Now, Cracker Barrel actually talks a lot about preparing for the next generation of families and stuff in the statement, and they say modernization is part of staying relevant, and mention that expanding new platforms and new ways of reaching customers. But that strategy actually risks alienating their existing audience, especially when visual changes clash with decades of brand identity. Now, the logo itself changed. The change of the logo is at the center of all of this. Cracker Barrel simply swapped its longtime design for a simplified text-only version. Fans erupted, accusing the company of abandoning its history. Now, the company argues that the original 1969 logo was also text-based, framing this as a return to roots, and that hasn't even softened the backlash because, well, they didn't convince anyone. Now, Cracker Barrel also redesigned the interiors of its restaurants, as you all know, replacing its Americana heavy kitschy vibe with a cleaner, modernist aesthetic. But for many loyal customers, this change represents more than design. It feels like erasing the atmosphere that actually defined Cracker Barrel for decades. Now, the company insists that, it's refreshing and the dining and shopping experience without losing what made it special, but the fans aren't buying it. You see, Cracker Barrel says that its research shows 87% of respondents loved or liked the new logo. That statistic doesn't match the outrage seen online, and many people believe that the company is focusing more on a selective sample instead of listening to its core audience. Heck, even social media responses tell a completely different story. Now, the company continues to go ahead and emphasize that Uncle Herschel and his legacy are actually front and center in their restaurants. Now, Cracker Barrel even calls him the face of the Herschel way, describing how their 70,000 employees actually represent the same country hospitality the brand was built on. But no amount of messaging seems to calm the backlash around this particular subject, around changing the visual identity customers have known for nearly 50 years. Matter of fact, if you want to go ahead and just bring the people back, bring them back onto the logo itself. Change it back. Get rid of the CEO. Okay, get rid of everyone involved in this particular change as well, because it seems to me the CEO is not taking full actual accountability. They just put out there a puff piece for damage control, if you will. And the fact of the matter is that if they refuse to take accountability, then the fans or the customers will never come back at all. Okay, and that's just me stating it just saying it gently. Cracker Barrel insists the new branding connects better with today's digital platforms, making it easier to adapt logos for mobile apps, online ordering, and roadside signage. Now, that's a practical argument, but longtime fans care more about what the brand represents than how it looks on a smartphone, okay? And it's obvious because mainly right now, the biggest customers right now are boomers, Gen Xers, as well as older millennials. Now, the bigger issue here is perception. Cracker Barrel wants to balance modernization with heritage, but customers see the logo and interior redesign as a signal that the company is leaving them behind. That disconnect is why this controversy spiraled into a full-blown backlash instead of a smooth transition. Okay, now the company actually claims feedback from guests and team members has been overwhelmingly positive, calling critics a vocal minority. If you have vocal minority, that framing rarely works, and it risks dismissing passionate customers and deepening frustration. Cracker Barrel is trying to appeal to a wider audience without alienating its base, but right now it feels like they're actually failing at both. You see, this particular controversy is bigger than just a logo, okay? It's about loyalty and identity and trust. And Cracker Barrel spent decades building a reputation around tradition, family, and Americana. But the redesign makes many people feel disconnected from the brand that they actually grew up with. Now, whether they can rebuild that trust will depend on actions, not puff piece statements. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Will you actually return to the restaurant chains? Did this statement they put out there convince you enough, or do you still feel the same way you felt about it before? Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Be sure to smash the like button, share the video far wide across social media, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell for future uploads notifications, and I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, peace.